So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, the self-improvement paradox, when growth makes you feel worse. So the reason I want to talk about this today is because I've noticed this in myself. This has been a part of my journey, and it's a conversation that we actually had on the retreat that I hosted, Free Your Mind, the experience. I hosted it a few weeks ago in the south of France. And one of the conversations that we had towards the end of the week was around how sometimes it can feel like growth and continually trying to improve yourself makes you feel worse, because it's like you're kind of always coming from a place of inadequacy because you want to be better, right? You want to grow, so where you are is never enough. There's always more available. For me, this is a very powerful conversation because there's a lot that I've learned in this, and there's kind of like, the way I see it is 3 stages to this, which is what I'm going to talk you through in this episode today. Welcome to In the Moment with me, Alex Manzi. I'm a coach, and my journey has been from depression to creating a life that I love and creating a life of fulfillment, really. And I've since gone on to coach entrepreneurs and athletes and artists and leaders and founders and all kinds of people. And this podcast exists to help you make a positive change in your life so you can start creating and living a life that you love for yourself today. And I also want to shout out some of the inspiration behind this video. After we had the conversation on the retreat, one of the girls in the group sent a link to the WhatsApp group from Lynette Adkins, talking about something very similar. And it made me think, do you know what? There's so much gold in this conversation that I want to share my part of it and put my spin on it. So let's just dive in right to the self-improvement paradox when growth makes you feel worse. So as I said, right, there's kind of 3 stages to this. And the first stage is what I call the trap of self-development. Self-development, really, the way I see it, it's like a mountain with no top. There isn't really ever an end goal. There's always more growth available. There's always more expansion that can come into my life. There's always more ways that I can grow. There's always more ways that I can step into being a better version of myself, a more loving version of myself. And this has led me, and it can lead people to feeling trapped, right? I had this. I felt trapped for a while because I was like, oh my God, there's all of this growth that's available to me. It must mean that I'm not good as I am. There must be something wrong with me, because why is there always so much more growth available to me? There's this what I call when then syndrome, right? So there's a classic one is like, when I have more money, and this is my one. When I have more money, then I'll be more at ease and more peaceful and happier in my life. And you can see how there's a trap in that, because are you ever really going to have enough money? There's always going to be more money that can be made, especially if you run a business, right? There's always going to be more available to you. And that more, the idea of more, is what keeps us in this trap of, I need to keep improving. I need to keep improving. I need to get better because I'm not good enough as I am. I'm inadequate, and I need to keep bettering myself so that I can become the person that I want to be. And then when I'm that person, then I can enjoy my life, and then I can live a happy life. I was talking to one of my clients about this the other day, and she said the same thing. She was like, I have this thing where I do something, and then I'm straight on to okay, what's the next thing? I need to learn the next thing. I need to learn what the next part to this is, or what the next level to this is. Again, it's the same thing. It's keeping us in this trap of, yes, there's more growth, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's a trap of I'm not good enough, so I need to grow. I need to be better. And it's in a way we're telling ourselves that we're not good as we are, and we need to improve. And it's coming from a need, it's coming from a should, it's coming from a place of lack, right? And it's kind of like a mindset of always striving for more, right? Which again is not necessarily a bad thing, but if it's grounded in this trap, right, which is this first stage, then it's probably not going to be a very pleasant experience of life, because you're always looking to better yourself. You're always beating yourself down for not being good enough. And this is what I've done, and to some degree I still do it, to be honest. I beat myself down for not being good enough, and it takes away from everything that I've done up until this point to get me to where I am today, right? So it's I'm always looking forward for the next thing, and I'm not present to the changes that I have made and how my life has changed and what my life has become. That's a beautiful place to sit in. It's a beautiful place to sit in this idea of, wow, yeah, my life is actually great as it is. Now, this is the thing. This is the second stage, right? This is where most people settle. And I did this for a while. I had all of this growth from depression, changed my life around, created a whole new inner world, a whole new perspective, a whole new, series of habits, a whole new way of living. And then I got to a point where I was like, okay, well, I don't need anything else now. And I settled. And it was coming from a place, and it's not a bad thing, it's coming from a place of I'm whole and complete as I am. Therefore, I don't need anything else. And I would have been quite happy to just like move to a mountain somewhere in a little wooden cabin and just live by myself, knowing that I was whole and complete. And what happens is most people who go through some sort of growth and through some sort of awakening, they have this moment of, oh, I am whole and complete as I am. And then they settle there. Now, again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, right? There's some good in that. There's some good in settling. There's some good in allowing yourself to enjoy where you are and how far you've come. And it's coming from a place of like, I'm already perfect as I am. Like one of the conversations we had on the retreat around this was this idea of, and I'm not going to give away too many details for obvious reasons, but one of the people on the retreat continually felt like they had to keep healing themselves. They had to keep improving themselves. They had to keep bettering themselves. And I just stopped them in the conversation. I said, you do know that you're already like perfect and whole and complete as you are, right? And I could see it was like the first time that they'd really sort of heard that in a way that allowed them to receive it. And it was a really emotional moment. And that's kind of what sparked this conversation of this paradox, because it's like, yes, it's good to see that you're whole and complete as you are. And there's still areas of your life that you could improve and areas of your life that you can grow into. But we don't want to take away from where you are now. We don't want to take away from the perfectness of you, because you are whole and complete. You don't need to be anything other than what you already are. You're already whole and complete. You're already loved. You're already, perfect. You're a perfect being as you are, right? And it's seeing that and not settling for that, where I believe the magic is, right? When I was going through this phase of settling, I called it my I don't need anything phase. And it was like, felt like I didn't need any more money. I didn't need I didn't need to be in a relationship. I didn't need to really work on my health that much. I was quite happy to just, like I said, move into a cabin in the woods or a mountain somewhere and just live on my own and being this beautiful blissness of my life is perfect. I'm whole and complete as I am. I don't need anything outside of myself. I don't need anything more in my life. It was very full, right? But like I said, most people will settle there, right? And it's not a bad thing. The third stage is what I call the perfect blend, okay? So the third stage of this self-improvement paradox, enjoying where you are, i.e. being proud of how far you've come, being proud of where you've got to in your life, because there's a past version of yourself that would be proud of you. Like there's a version of me 11 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, who'd be looking at me today like, wow, is that who we become? Wow, like so in awe of the person that I am today. And I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that sense of, yeah, I've come so far in my life. My life is great. It's beautiful. I'm so blessed to have the life that I have. I'm so blessed to have the people that I have in my life. I'm so blessed to do this, record these podcasts. I'm so blessed to have the clients that I work with. And I want to really see that, and I really want to sit in that. And I don't want to make what I have inadequate in order to want more, right? And that's the trap and the settling is we make what we have and who we are inadequate in order to want more. So what we want to do is we want to flip that and ask yourself, how can I want more for myself, for my life, for my relationship, for my health, without making where I am today, right now, inadequate? And that is the perfect blend. And it's like being able to create from a place of I am enough and I want to continue growing. I want to continue up this mountain with no top. I want to grow into the person that I know I can become whilst not diminishing who I am today. To sum this up, there's a really beautiful quote, which I'm going to read. I believe it's from Oprah. This is a quote. I put this in my book, The Search for Clarity, when I wrote it, because for me, it's one of the most beautiful quotes. And she says, be thankful for what you have and you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never have enough. And I think that beautifully encapsulates this idea of the self-improvement paradox. Creating a life where you want more, but what you have isn't enough, right? And like I said, you'll always go on that journey, never feeling like you have enough. So it will be this endless chase, which is kind of exhausting, to be honest. I think the magic, the blend, the perfect place to be in is what I have is beautiful. I'm so grateful, and it's grounded in gratitude. I'm so grateful for what I have. I'm so happy for where I am in my life. And I know that there's more that can be available to me, but not taken away from seeing my own life, for seeing how perfect and whole and complete and beautiful life is as it is today, and still wanting to create more for myself, right? Because you're not this project that needs to continually be worked on because it's not good enough. You are perfect, you are whole, you are complete. You do have a beautiful life as it is, right? See that and create from, yes, I want more, but what I currently have isn't inadequate. So if you like this episode and it resonated with you, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Whether you're listening, whether you're watching, hit the like button so it can help get this out to more and more people. And if you like this content and you want more, I send out a daily email to 600 people called Mindful Moments. It's full of gems like this, full of these thoughts, full of these ideas, full of these learnings that I'm making as well. It's kind of like a daily blog. And I promise that every single one of them is like a one-on-one coaching session with me. It's packed full of value. If you want to be part of that, if you want to sign up, receive these emails, you'll find the link in the description down below. Be sure to come and find me on Instagram, on Twitter, at I am Alex Manzi. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. And I'll see you for the next episode.